ever since there was speculation of a war, they want to do all that military propaganda. Every other fucking YouTube ad is, they say Gen Z doesn't know what to do. I'll tell them something. And it's just like, I can't help but notice this. Gas prices are going up, and now we're advertising the military. And now everybody and their mama want to go to the military. Can't even really blame people who actually want to go into the military. I'm not going to say what I don't know, but it looks pretty stable. You have a home, usually have a car. You're also usually in like a 4 to 6 year contract, depending on what you want to sign. It varies, okay, but yeah, I just can't help but notice that. It has been a while. I know, you miss me. Thank you to those who left me comments throughout the months that I was gone, my leave of absence. I thank you truly, and it does not go forgotten, I promise you. But let's get into it. The truths of others are exactly that. The way I think, feel, and understand the world around me is similar to some and exact to none. We often fail to validate experiences that we have not personally gone through. But are we wrong in doing so? Example, let's say that you personally haven't had good experiences when it comes to school, education, so on. So you probably wouldn't relate to somebody who does. But for you to go and tell that person who's had good experiences with education that they're wrong, not only is that insensitive, but to be quite frank, you out your motherfucking lane. Who are you to tell somebody how they should experience what they experience? You feel me? Yeah, okay. It's hard to believe after so many battles, so many doors slammed in your face, and loss of innocence and life, that some Black women are not recognized for their experiences. And what's even crazier is it's their own people denying what they experience. So it goes to show you, it really do be your own people. The specific experience that we'll be discussing is what I like to call growing up Black in a Eurocentric utopia. First, we'll be talking about society's views of a Black woman in somewhat general terms to keep it brief yet informative. Second, we'll be talking about how these views affect or can affect Black women. Lastly, we'll be discussing my reasoning for saying so. So, society's views of a Black woman. There are many that I can discuss and dive into, but I chose 3 to kind of narrow it down and give you some perspective. First, we have the strong Black woman. Now, this woman is set out to be overly independent, so much so that it is said and often thought that she doesn't need anybody. That could not be further from the truth. This woman is expected, with underlying and systematic racism, be able to somehow support herself. If she has a family, support them, carry herself in a respectful manner, and never show weakness. This woman is often said to be both a protector and a nurturer. Now, this is an impossible standard, yet some Black women feel like they have to meet these impossible standards. Another way that I notice that society views us, we get over-sexualized a lot, and it starts at a pretty young age. I remember when I started growing my chesticles, I was probably in the 2nd or 3rd grade, and although this was of no fault of my own, this caused a lot of attention towards me. From boys in my grade to boys, dropping off their sons. It was a hot mess. In turn, I internalized those feelings of lust, and I projected them into what I thought I should be based off of how people were treating me. There is a theory called the reflected appraisal theory. This can in turn explain why a lot of people, not just Black women, but a lot of people will look for other people's approval and see how other people treat them. And in turn, that's how they view and treat themselves. How others treat us is how we treat ourselves. Reflected appraisal theory. Our third experience, the light skin, dark skin experience. It may not be an experience that you've considered. In almost every culture, there is some level of colorism. The lighter complexion is treated significantly better than the dark complexion people. To back what I'm saying up, I took an African American psychology class. And in our textbook, African American Psychology, it says the following: skin color bias has a pervasive impact on life outcomes affecting self-concept, mate choice, and social mobility. Historically, African Americans with light skin have been considered more attractive than those who are darker skinned. Light skinned African Americans were the offspring of slave masters and enslaved women and were treated better than those who were dark skinned. They were given more household duties as opposed to field duties and had better living conditions. Free blacks were more likely to be light skinned than dark. Skin color started to matter when it came to success and prestige in the African American community. African Americans, along with whites, considered light skin, white facial features, and straight hair to be more attractive than dark skin. In a comprehensive review of studies on skin color bias across the lifespan, Adams et al. Concluded that overall research indicates that darker skin color has negative consequences, including more discrimination, worse health outcomes, lower socioeconomic status, and harsher penalties within the legal system. Basically, what that all meant was skin color plays a part, especially in the African American community, with how healthy you are, how successful you are, what's your socioeconomic status. That all plays a part. The Houston rapper Monaleo was interviewed by Megan James, and I will link that down below for y'all. I can't even lie. I'm going to be so fucking for real. It was really hard to watch just because of how unprepared, surface level, and unknowing Megan seemed to be asking her own questions about her own questions. But anyways, further into the interview, they started to discuss colorism, the definition of colorism, and how it specifically affects Black women in the rap community. And I just want y'all to pay close attention to Megan's comments and her behavior when Leah was talking.
Do you believe in colorism, and do you feel like it's easier as a female rapper to like make it big when you're like of a lighter complexion?
A very real thing, for sure. And it definitely is easier for, not to take away from anybody who is a light skinned rapper, but it's definitely easier for a woman with a lighter complexion to blow up quicker than a dark skinned woman, for sure.
But like, why do you feel like that? Because like I be getting into it with people, right? I used to get made fun of at school because I wasn't black enough. Bitches used to try to cut my hair. Like, people be thinking that like light-skinned girls don't go through colorism. We go through colorism just, I don't know if it's like as bad as like brown-skinned girls.
It's not colorism. It's not colorism. If you're light skinned, it's not colorism.
So what is it called?
If people was picking with you, then that's like, but it's not colorism. Like
But what
is
if they call me
discrimination
white?
against darker skinned,
Is
like darker complected
So
people.
you're basically talking about reverse.
Well, reverse colorism then. Because they used to be like, you ain't even black for real. You're white. Go over there with the white girls. And I'm just like, bitch.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I am black actually.
Yeah, that's an interesting experience.
Yeah.
I've heard people who like mixed people
Yeah,
talk
mixed
about
people go through
But
experiences.
I'm not even, this is the thing,
And
I'm
stuff
not
like
even
that,
mixed.
but
I don't
it's-
got no white parents.
But I've heard people like lighter skinned people like say stuff like that. I wouldn't say it's reverse colorism. Like I don't think that that's a thing. But I understand.
I'm trying to describe the moment that you're having, and that's kind of like what you're saying. But also, it's like that thing, like, oh, you're pretty to be a dark skin.
Yeah, but we also get, oh, you're pretty to be a black. Like, I've had white people and others.
Well, that's racism.
Yeah, that's
racism.
racism.
Right.
But like, they'd be like, you're pretty to be a black. I've had black girls be like, you're pretty. Are you mixed? Like that? Are you mixed? You have to be mixed.
Right.
I
That's
thought you was
actually
mixed.
sad. That's
You
sad.
mixed. Why I gotta be mixed?
Right.
Yeah, that thought process is actually sad.
Yeah.
That I would have to be mixed to be.
Oh wait,
But I mean, just to play to play devil's advocate, like black, especially little black girls in general, we've been indoctrinated to think that darker skin, especially like just the way that I grew up, I'm like darker skinned people experience a completely different experience than people who are light skinned, and that is just like the bottom line, and that is where the issue of colorism comes in for sure. But just little girls who've always been like just growing up, my mom, and it's not my mom's fault either, but just growing up, my mom like perming my hair just so that it wouldn't be super, because I have 4C, super kinky hair, and it's like it was difficult for her to manage, so she would perm my hair so it'd be easier for her to style it. But that was something that a lot of young black girls had to experience, and we were told that our hair was not beautiful, that our skin was not beautiful, and we watched people who were lighter skinned or mixed people get a different treatment than brown skin and especially dark skinned children. So that's why I feel like it, not to take away from like your experience, because that's still valid, and what you went through is still something that was traumatizing for you for sure, but it's not the same thing as like the colorism that darker skinned women
Can you explain it in like
The nigga was too stunned to give a proper response. If you watch the rest of that interview, that little section, she just glossed over what Leo was saying, and I just find that interesting. But I just gotta give her props for standing her ground, for sounding so educated and being respectful throughout the whole interview. Shout out to her. She's a Taurus. I'm a Taurus rising. Shout out to my Tauruses, except the men. Y'all ain't shit. Just kidding. Not really. But the fact that she not only kept her cool, but she tried not to take away from Megan's experience while informing her what she went through wasn't colorism, I just gotta give her flowers. I personally love her. I see so much potential and growth with her personally and musically. She was on tour with Flo Milli, and I got to see her, and she is so good live, y'all. Check out her music, and shout out to the people in Houston. Another example of how skin color can be used to discriminate against darker skin. So Watson, Thornton, and England conducted an experiment to elevate African American attitudes and perceptions of American female models with light skin and dark skin in advertisements. In this experiment, 299 African American male students from 3 universities were presented a photograph of models with medium skin color whose appearance had been digitally manipulated as either light or dark skin. The men were randomly assigned to view one of the manipulated photos and then to rate the model's attractiveness, attitude toward the advertisement, and attitude toward the brand. Findings reveal that African American men rated the model, the brand, and the advertisement significantly higher in the photos with the light skin manipulation than the photo with the dark skin manipulation, indicating a continued preference for lighter skinned females. Now, going back to when I said in the beginning, it be your own people. This is exactly what I mean. It's our own men that seems to have a preference for people who don't look like us. And then, as we see time and time again, trash us. Instead of quietly being with a Latina, their white girl, their Asian, whatever the fuck that isn't black, instead of them being quiet and happy, they want to down talk and try to make these women of other races feel as though we're nothing, when in turn, honey, they're going to be treating you the exact same way they treat the black women. Remember that white girl who murdered that black NFL player? She was the OnlyFans thing. Yeah, I could see both sides. Now hear me out when I say that white girl was motherfucking crazy. But at the end of the day, we know how black men be. Over here stealing money, pretending they ain't talking to women, not getting a damn job. That shit stresses you out. So when you start wilding when you find out that type of shit. And then what they want to do, act like, oh, you crazy. Yeah. See, so I can see how that it may not have been all on her. But the bitch still chopped them up, so throw her ass in the fucking pen and throw away the key. Now, I say that to say, it's not our job to get black men to like black women anymore. That's something they gotta work out with their fucking therapist. But it is our job to be educated and understanding the reasons why maybe they don't like us. You ever consider, just like a lot of black women are traumatized by black men, a lot of black men are traumatized by black women. And we be the main ones talking about, oh, they mama. Yes, their mother who, instead of raising a strong, independent, loving, protecting being, raises her idea of what a man should be, caters to his everyone in need. So now by comparison, nobody compares to his mom because his mom's going to be only one that deals with his bullshit. You feel me? You following? Okay, see, this is what I'm saying. A lot of black men think of the first black women that they were introduced to, that they were close to, that raised them mostly, and they use that image, they use that knowledge and compare it to all the other black women. So if she has even an inkling of a characteristic like his mom, oh no, she's out. Oh, she's raising her voice at me, no. Oh, she's telling me what to do, no. Because you know what? My mom told me. Or it could be the complete opposite where he don't fuck with his mama. And so anything that reminds him of his mom, he don't fuck with. So now that we talked about the perspective, some of the perspectives that society has of black women, let's talk about how those experiences and perspectives affect or can affect black women. Like I said, we're going to keep this relatively brief, but we're going to keep it informative. The perspective of a strong black woman, an over-sexualized black woman, a light-skinned or a dark-skinned black woman, that all takes a toll on how the black woman is treated, and in turn takes a toll on how the black woman views herself at home when nobody is watching. Now, just so you don't think I'm pulling this from my ass, I want to take a couple of examples and a couple of stories that I've heard or that I've searched for at this point and insert them and show you how society's views can affect a black woman.
If how black women have been treated in the media hasn't taught you anything, it should at least show you that we're not protected. Meg Thee Stallion got shot and no one believed her. She said that it really impacted her mental health, so much so that she said she wishes that she would have just died that night. They say, you're looking for sympathy. If we cry, we're using our crocodile tears and looking for sympathy. If we get passionate, then we're too angry, too masculine. If we run away and hide, then we must be lying and running away from the truth. Keke Palmer comes out and said, hey, I've accomplished a lot and now I'm gonna be a mom. And people say, you're not married. Black women get married, and when we're cheated on, disrespected, or degraded, it's, you shouldn't have married him. Ari came out and said, yeah, I got cheated on while I was dealing with postpartum, and no one believed her. And now, 19 years later, their kid is old enough to file his own taxes. She herbo hops on a podcast, and people are like, she deserves an apology. Why? It happened 93 years ago.
One, my very first fight was in 8th grade because me and my other black friend wanted to change the radio station, and this girl who everybody fucking hated in the grade came up to us and was like, haha, no one wants to listen to your N-word music with the hard R. And I looked at my friend and I said, well, I'm whooping her ass. And I fought that bitch for that. Because you know what I'm saying? You can't get away with that. Another instance is a boy in my class cut my hair. He cut one of my braids. And I heard it snip. And I was like, if I turn around and you got my braid in your hand, I'm slapping the fuck out you. And I meant that. And I turned around and I slapped the dog shit out of him. And he was like, well, Fanita, it's not even your real hair. And this is why y'all need to stay out of black people's fucking business. Because they think all of our hair is fucking fake. Mind you, he cut my real hair from the fucking root. And then thought that shit was funny. So I slapped the shit out of his ass.
A black woman is not a protector. She is not a ride or die. She is not your nurturer. She is not your lover. She is her own woman before she is anything to you. And that is my point. Black women are used and abused. And when they're asked for it, and when we're asked for a little bit of respect, let's be honest, do we get it? No. We get told that we're complaining. We get told that that's why our men don't like us. We get told that we're loud. We get told that we should sit in the back. Shut up. It's not as bad, so why are you complaining? But it's funny. It's really funny how if someone asked you, would you want to be a black woman, like a real one, not take the black features, but actually truly be a black woman, would you actually say yes? Lastly, let's talk about why am I talking about this? It is known but not spoken how black women have never been the standard of beauty. Now, I want you to listen to what I said. I did not say there was no such thing as a beautiful black woman. Didn't say there was no such thing as a successful, beautiful black woman. The black woman has never been the standard of beauty. Meaning there are a lot of other things that come before us. The point is, a lot of other things are considered before us. Although we rise like Maya Angelou told us to, that shit is hard and it's exhausting. God damn. Why do we have to work 3 times as hard to get in the same place as you regular average niggas? Like, we are regular average niggas. We light skin nor dark skin. We are not fucking average. You may be asking what a beauty standard has to do with how cruelly black women are treated. And I'll tell you why. Okay, have y'all ever been in a room? There was somebody significantly attractive, and then maybe there was someone less attractive, average, whatever. You can literally see the difference on how they get treated. It's not that this person is just getting favored over them. It's also because it seems to be because this person is attractive that the average people, the not good looking people, the not as good looking people get treated worse by default. And I feel like you know what I mean. I don't know if y'all ever been in school and you had a crush and it was unrequited. They didn't fuck with you, but they fuck with somebody else, and they treat that person like the fucking queen of Sheba. And they treat you like fucking dirt. So it's not just the fact that these people get attention. It's that the people who are giving these people the attention feel like they need to shit on the people that don't compare to this person. That little conception, that example is how I connect it to being a black woman. Because we are not the standard, because we don't look, we don't talk, we don't think like a white woman, like an Asian woman, like a Latina woman, we get treated bad. We get treated bad because we're not this. And that's not okay. It's not okay whether we're talking about race or not. It's okay to value something over something else, prefer something over something, it's fine. But to then go and trash and speak down on the person that isn't your preference, that's not okay. And I'm tired because black coochie matters. So first we talked about society's perspectives of a black woman. Then we talked about how society's perspective of a black woman can affect a black woman. And lastly, we talked about what this all means and comes down to. The way a black woman is treated, and specifically who treats her that way, impacts her ability to love, relate, and connect with people, even or especially those who look like her. I am valid. The truths of others are exactly that. The way I think, feel, and understand the world around me is similar to some and exact to none. So I say to you, we often fail to validate experiences that we have not personally been through. But are we wrong in doing so? Okay, now I need you to go think about that now. Bye-bye.